Well, welcome to the foundational course of domestic human trafficking. I want you to just come in and consider this a coaching opportunity for us to just sit together and talk about these things. But the challenge is trying to do it online and all of that. I wanted you to have an opportunity just to hear from me the introduction and what I'd like to see you discover and to work on during the next 5 weeks. I designed the courses in 5 weeks because that seems to be about the attention span that we can give things, especially when they're intense and we need to do a lot of reading and really digging. So I want to welcome you to this session and ask you to just think clearly about your goals and objectives for the engagement with Compelled to Act, but I want to really ask you to give it some time and give yourself some space to be able to accomplish the things that you need to. Because this isn't a university accredited course, of course, you have the opportunity to take this at your own pace. And if 5 weeks isn't enough for you, it's really okay because you'll have access to the materials and you can kind of go at your own speed. So I will be available to you. If you have questions, you can press the contact button or send me an email or however you'd like to get a hold of me. You can definitely do that at the website. So let's just dive right into domestic human trafficking and kind of look at the course layout and what this looks like and kind of get you down into the details of what you can expect. So this course will help you to excavate your modern day slavery in the U.S. context understanding and to really look at it in its various forms, both labor and sex trafficking. We're going to integrate a biblical worldview, a framework that looks at the stewardship of humanity, understanding human rights approach to the issue, public health framework, a multidisciplinary approach to discussing methods of combating slavery through prevention, intervention, education, and restoration, or real solutions. That's the word PIER, P-I-E-R. You're going to hear that over and over and over again because the framework of a public health issue really does make this much easier to understand. It gives you 4 specific avenues that you can challenge yourself with to learn more about, and then avenues to engage with as well. And that we'll be looking at an examination of the U.S. laws, our responses, and our advocacy issues in the U.S. context and what that looks like. My hope is that the outcomes of this program will give you basically 4 areas: discovering that working knowledge of what the biblical construct is concerning stewardship of humanity and these issues of human trafficking and how their interplay is with a biblical understanding of slavery in that context. I want you to learn a U.S. response through our laws, our justice system, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, the kinds of things that have been going on in the legislative arenas, those issues. Then I want you to evaluate the nature of the justice system's approach versus a public health approach, and taking that understanding of this is how our system works, but how could it perhaps work better if we looked at it more comprehensively and holistically through a public health framework. And then you'll be applying your biblical worldview to the issues of human trafficking in all of those areas that are previously discussed. So each of them will integrate that faith and the biblical narratives and what the biblical response is, and of course what Jesus said that he came for from Luke 4. And you'll get that more and more as you go through and look at what the scriptures say about his response to oppression and slavery and those kind of things. And then your objectives will be to analyze the relevant history, skills for doing research, your integration approach, articulating that biblical worldview, evaluating NGOs and government policies as well, and then creating a personal action plan. What does that look like for you? For what you're learning, what are you going to do to respond? I'll see you in the next session.